This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we are currently in our Totally Spies arc. And usually, if you've followed our show before, we usually do 8 episodes of a show and call them our little arcs. But this year, because of how math works, we're doing 10 Totally Spies episodes. So this is not our last Totally Spies. So for this arc, we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to launch right into spooky season, which is why we're going to fill those 2 weeks between September and spooky season with more Totally Spies, because we're already here. We're already in this universe. So,
yeah. And it's a good segue because, like, pretty much all the villains we've covered so far are pretty spooky in this show.
That's true. Some like real life spooky.
Yeah.
Ones, especially mainly.
Like last week, we were in practically a horror house.
Yeah, exactly.
A house of horrors with the freaking penguin villain.
Yep. So. And this week, you'll take us on another journey to maybe a house of horrors, maybe to a sociopath behind it. Time will tell. But, you know.
Yeah.
I'm here.
I am time.
To learn. You are time. We're still in our matching outfits. I just have to say it again.
2 weeks in a row. I mean, should we just keep doing this? Should we do this again? Do you have a gray t-shirt you want to wear next week, maybe?
Don't tell the people listening what we're wearing. They have to come watch.
I didn't. We're not wearing gray t-shirts for those who are listening, so you still don't know what we're wearing. You have to follow us on YouTube. Check it out. Hit like, subscribe while you're at it. And
and tell a friend.
The more likes and subscribers these videos get, we'll start matching like all the time. Then if that's what the crowd wants, then like we have a few matching shirts, I'm sure, other than the ones that we've got on right now.
Yeah. A matching demo that we're appealing to. Great.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll sell out immediately. Let's do
it. We have no souls. We're not committed to our cause whatsoever.
Everyone and everything
our cause
is
of
our demo.
Dressing differently. Yeah.
So with that, I will pass it to you, Alexis, to take us on a totally wild, totally violent, totally spy-filled episode.
Yes, on our third to last episode.
Nice.
Not our last, but our third to last episode. Yep. So this is actually this episode today is from season 5 of Totally Spies, and it's episode 3 called Evil Professor. And so I want to just real quick, just logistically speaking, a bit of background before we jump into the actual mystery / espionage of today. This episode came out in 2010.
Dang,
so I've
never
sure
seen the recent seasons.
Me neither, right? So I think that I probably stopped watching it like around maybe 2007 or so, maybe like season 2-ish or 3. Because at this point, like we were about to graduate from high school.
Yeah.
Like Totally Spies was not on my radar anymore.
Same.
So this is the first I had watched them. I remember reading somewhere that in the later seasons of the show, the writers actually put the girls in college, our 3 main characters. So they're no longer in high school. This is one of those seasons. And I will say, I think, just kind of as a little fun fact, I think that this will be the newest episode of any show that we've ever covered on this podcast.
Right, 2010.
2010, I was like doing the math in my head, which again, as we've established, we're not good at. But to my knowledge, though, like I don't think we've done anything that recent. So yeah, just kind of a fun fact there. Not that it has anything to do with the story, but yeah, I was like, we usually do classic cartoons, and this is still a classic cartoon, but a much more recent episode. Because even like of the What's New Scooby-Doo episodes and stuff, those came out in the early 2000s.
I did that one musical Scooby-Doo episode.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I blanked it out of my memory because I hate musical TV episodes so much. No,
but I think so that I would still count this though, because Scooby-Doo has so many iterations that this is the same iteration.
Yeah, true.
Good Totally
point. Okay,
Spies.
So maybe it's our second
I'll give it to you.
Most recent, but still. Anyway, so like I said, I wasn't still watching the show at this point in its run, so it was pretty funny to see the girls in college for the first time and like how the writers tried to maintain like the same vibes from the previous seasons where they're in high school. They did, actually. Okay. And it's funny that you said that, because I even put a note in my script that says, seems like they did a decent job. It's like, I knew you would ask about that.
Yeah, because I'm like, should our next episodes be from the college days, or did they suck?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a little different, but okay. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact formula.
Got it.
And so, yeah, let's jump into that, actually. And well, I guess one last, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's probably because like whatever like break came between like season 4 and season 5, like all of a sudden everyone was like, was that fly cockroach man hitting on a 15-year-old girl? That's not appropriate. So they were like, let's be in college. So they're all 20.
They're all like at least 18 or
they're
19
all legal now.
It's still weird, but it's not illegal. So yeah.
So that's maybe why.
Yeah. So, okay. Before I forgot there's one last thing I got to say before I actually get into today's episode, just to kind of like set the stage, since it is a whole new environment. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, the second or third episode, the third episode of season 5. So there are a couple things that happen in the first 2 episodes that kind of tie into what happens in this one. It's almost like a story arc in a way this season, at least from the couple of episodes from it that I've watched. So in episode 1 of season 5, we do see the girls graduate from high school. And I think, I haven't watched this episode, I just kind of read about it, but I think that at one point they either were undecided on where they wanted to go to school, or all 3 of them were thinking of going to different schools. But somehow in the end, Jerry rigs it, or like kind of jimmies the system so that they can all go surveillance state. He's got a lot of power, okay? Works it out so that all 3 of them can go to the same college called Malibu University, aka Mali U. And the way he does it, though, is it's like after the typical deadline of when you register for courses. So they're all kind of like rushed in and everything, and have to like sign up for classes late, and don't really have living accommodations together. So in episode 2, we realize that 2 of the girls are roomed together, but one of them is roomed separately. And so there's this whole like thing about them trying to figure out how to get to the same like room or whatever. And they end up at the end of the episode, Jerry gifts the girls with this dope ass penthouse room in their dorm building.
Oh my God, of course.
Because as it happens, the villain in that episode ended up being Sam's roommate. So they were like, okay, it's a whole thing. That episode I did watch. So it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, whatever. And so once they get rid of that villain, Jerry's like, okay, yeah, let's just keep you girls together. We'll figure something out. Again, he rigs the system so that they can all have this nice apartment, which, by the way, they didn't ask for this penthouse. It just so happened Jerry was like, it's easier when you're all together, and like, we can't trust these roommates here. Obviously, any one of them could be a villain.
Another villain.
So let's not do that again. So all of that background behind us, let's jump into officially today's mystery and thriller, whatever. So the episode in our cold opening begins at a literally quote unquote high-tech fortress facility at 11:17 p.m. And, you know, this facility, it's what you would think, just kind of like big block building with gates around it and kind of like mountainside surrounding it, since it's somewhere in like central to Southern California. And we just see like overlooking the facility from a distance, like from these rolling hills or like one of these mountains, like a cat-suited burglar who is a self-declared, because he's kind of like talking to himself, he's a self-declared spy reject. Oh
God. Okay. This is already off to this person has lost it. This person is not doing well. Okay.
No, they are not.
The second you said they're talking to themselves, bad. Spy reject, double bad.
They're like hyping themselves up as they're getting ready to attempt to break into this high-tech fortress facility.
Okay.
So, as you could guess, the man does not get far, however, as he is quickly spotted by armed guards just after crossing the facility's fence or gates or whatever, and before reaching an access point into this facility. So he quickly aborts his mission and makes a break for it. And now, back at Mally U after the credits roll and everything. Oh, one last thing I've got to say too. The opening music for the episode for the season, it's different. It's the music, but none of the lyrics. So it's just an instrumental with like pictures going across the screen. Yeah. Okay. So I was kind of bummed that they took that out, but the music is still cool. Anyway, I guess whatever. Whatever.
Maybe flagging though.
They lost the rights to the lyrics by that point. They're like, all right, we're gonna cut those. Yeah. So anyway, yes. So once the episode starts now, we are back at Mally U. It's 8:35 a.m. The girls, they're up, they're strolling through campus, enjoying the college life so far. They've got like this brand new dope ass penthouse that I was talking about, has all these great decorations and is just massive place overlooking the entire campus and like the rolling hills beyond the campus. They've got a light academic schedule, probably taking just the easiest 101 courses and have all these breaks in between their classes. And of course, they have the freedom of young adulthood. So they're all happy, talking about what they should do next. Like, oh my God, we have all this time. This is so much fun. And they decide for their first stop of the morning to make a pit stop to check their mail in the common room of their dorm building. But when they open their mailbox, they're surprised to see that not all things have changed in college. A hologram of Jerry pops up as soon as they open the mailbox. They knew they would be there. Surveillance state, Whoop technology is just as good as it has always been.
Yep.
And so Jerry tells the girls that he's ready to collect this month's payment for the girls' room and board.
Oh, shit.
Which surprises and confuses the girls even more. And the girls, as I mentioned earlier, tell Jerry that they thought the penthouse dorm room was a Whoop perk. Like, they didn't ask for this thing. He just gave it to them at the end of the prior episode. Okay, yeah, here you go. But Jerry assures them that it's not a perk and they've got to pay up like the adults they are, which again, I say is pretty fucked up because they did not ask for this. Yeah. Like, he should have at least warned them. And also,
is this part of like
Jerry,
situation?
Also, that's true. Like, room and board falls into there because it is, again, attached to a dorm. This isn't like a separate apartment building. And third, Jerry, you're their boss. If you want them to pay for their housing, then pay them for their services. They don't have an income because of you. There's so much wrong with this.
Do they get paid?
I guess not, because, so let me say in a second. So Jerry, he gives them until the end of the week to pay up. Also fucked up. Like, dude, you didn't warn us. You're not paying us. And now you're giving us less than 7 days to pay you.
Yeah.
And two, I don't think Jerry pays them because the girls at that point decide that they have to get part-time jobs to foot the bill and maintain this dope-ass living arrangement. So yeah, I don't think the girls are being paid. I think they get all the free shit from Whoop. Like, you know, when they, at least in my one episode, they got that platinum card to like shop in Paris or whatever. But like that, they tried to murder
shredded
them,
all their shit.
Kind of like cancels out.
Yeah.
So,
well, like, and Jerry, like, if you evict them at the end of the week, you're just have to find them a new place altogether because they're just gonna go back into normal dorm housing.
Yeah, where their roommate is a villain again.
Right, like you're just gonna go through this again. So okay.
And so I will say, since it's been a while since we recorded before today, I first watched this episode weeks ago. So I did rewatch it last night just to like refresh my memory before recording. And I have some wild speculation that I hope to God I'll remind me, hopefully at the end, to say like why I think he's kind of fucking with the girls for more than one reason.
Okay,
like, I'm starting to see a Jerry plot going on
like
here.
A dad life lesson happening or something. We can get to it.
Yeah, so we'll get to that towards the end.
Okay.
So yeah, the girls, they end up landing a job at a campus coffee shop because obviously that's going to help you pay your bills, right? And the first day on the job does not go smoothly since
it's probably like their first job ever.
It is. It literally is. Like they don't know what to do. And even at the mention of it, I think it was like Alex's suggestion that they even get the jobs, and Clover like screamed as soon as she said it, like, I refuse to work. And like
Oh my
kind of
God.
offensively, like you see them imagining themselves working at one point and they're like dressed in like prison outfits and like hammering
Oh
like
my
rubble or
God.
like
Like,
picking,
isn't this what
axing at,
peasants do?
yeah. And I was like, ooh, that didn't age too well.
Yikes.
But yeah, aren't we all prisoners to our jobs? Just kidding. I love my
Uh,
new job.
that you still haven't started at the time of this recording.
But that I will be well into by
So,
the time
yes.
that this is published. So anyway, and so in addition to, the struggles of learning the ropes of this fast-paced coffee business, campus coffee business, and like, really only knowing how to like spy and create chaos and
Oh
violence,
no. Okay.
the girls are struggling. The girls are struggling. But the struggles get even worse while working behind these counters at the coffee shop, the girls hear a customer in the shop with
Oh
the
no.
unfortunate,
They
horrifying.
They hear before they see.
You already know
Got it.
the horrifying. And yes, we did say this is a horror show, or this is a good way to segue into Octave.
Should be like her
Nails
music
on a
before she comes.
chalkboard. Yes. That familiar, horrifying voice that they thought they had left behind in high school, their arch nemesis, Mandy. And Mandy asks what the girls are doing at the coffee shop in her typical shrill voice when she sees them working behind the counter. And Alex is like, well, what the heck are you doing here? Like, we thought you were supposed to be at some fancy ski school in Aspen that apparently she was planning on attending for college. And then Alex also tells her that the girls all decided to transfer to Mally U so that they could stay BFFs, aka continue their spy work together. But before Mandy can say anything else, they then hear an almost equally, perhaps even more terrible sounding voice, but this one with a Southern twang.
What?
That says, she like totally changed her mind when she found out she could hang with yours truly. And yours truly happens to be someone who we briefly mentioned earlier on. I had a Freudian slip earlier on in our arc.
Like Mindy, but I don't know who this
Mandy's,
is.
exactly. Mandy's equally as mean and annoying Southern cousin, Mindy.
Oh my God.
Who is just like Mandy, but she is blonde and tan rather than dark haired. Yes. And so at this point, the girls pretty much like literally their knees just give out and they all just collapse behind the counter and decide to just, it's over. They're done. They're pissed off already. They decide to just leave for the day so that they don't have to, on their first day of work.
Girls, is not how work works.
It is for them so that they don't have to deal with the trauma of taking orders and looking at Mandy and Mindy. So naturally, the guy who's training them, who is like this really like very nice looking, kind of geeky, like blonde haired, appears to be their fellow student, like nerdy looking guy named Virgil. He's wearing like almost a like 70s ice cream shop type of outfit, like the pink striped, button down shirt with an apron over it. And he has like a curly Q and like the hat and everything and his hair. Yeah. And he's just like, what, you guys are leaving? Like you literally just started. And they're like, yeah, well, like we don't want to overexert ourselves on our first day. So bye, we'll be back later.
As if.
And it's even funnier because like he just hired 3 people and he was the 4th. That's like a whole shift. Like that's a whole shift of workers. So now he's like the only one working. So they all just left and he's like freaking out. Correct. Anyway, so yeah, these girls, they're not working girls. Yes.
They're not working gals.
They're not working gals. Only espionage gals. So the girls, they're back outside and they're like just venting about the horrors of again attending school with Mandy and the additional horror of having to deal with a second one, an even more annoying one who has a Southern accent. And Sam is like, man, I wish we could, fill up our free time with some spying and some like whoop stuff to get our minds off of all this campus chaos. It's so stressful. I would love to do something relaxing, like, I don't know, stop an international terrorist, some stress-free activity. Exactly. So shortly after that, while Sam and Clover are like sitting on a bench venting, Alex sees on a like a board or whatever that's sitting near this park where they're at on campus that has a sign-up sheet for a course conveniently called Espionage 101.
Oh God. Okay.
And she's like, oh my God, guys, this will be an easy A. It'll take our minds off of the horrors of Mandy and Mindy. We should totally just like take this course, right? And they're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, we're all going to ace this. We're already spies. So they show up to the class the next day, a little bit after 11. And the class, oddly enough, it's like not on campus, and it's in this literal cave on the beach somewhere in Malibu, like
okay,
literally a cave.
Don't go to random unknown location.
No.
Okay.
Also, second step of espionage, if you're going to take a class, like you don't just like pull a little rip tear thingy sheet off of a board. You
process.
Like, log it. You talk to your counselor. You have to like, anyway, whatever.
Also, the fact though that this is they just left in the middle of the day of their first job, and like Jerry connected them and like signed them up for classes. I don't think they know that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think they literally think you just take a piece of paper and show up and it's yours now.
That's how this works, right?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about adulting. So yeah, Sam though, she's kind of on our page. She's wondering why the class is being offered in like this weird location. But Clover is like, nah, it's probably just more to like give it that spy vibe, you know? It's really it's an immersive course. We've got to like really feel like we're in some sort of spy situation. So the three of them, they stroll into this cave, this literal cave, and they see other students. So I guess other students fell for it as well. We're
also stupid. Got it.
Yes.
Cool.
They see a group of other students, but they see no professor. And so they're like talking, thinking, maybe the class is canceled. Maybe we're in the wrong place. Something doesn't seem right. The wrong cave. This is actually home ec. Sorry. This is not Espionage 101.
3 caves over.
Yeah. So then as they're talking, though, we see this like kind of dark figure quickly jumping from like rock to rock or stalactite to stalactite, whatever, above them towards the top of the cave. And when the figure stops moving, we see it like front flip right in front of them. And it's this guy, this man, younger looking man, in a very flamboyant and bright suit. It's like, well, it's like a cream colored suit, but with the pink fluffy blouse underneath it, like the frills and stuff coming out of it. He's got like slicked back black hair, these very thick rimmed glasses, and very bright green eyes. And he's like, perhaps you want to recheck your back, spy wannabes, like in this very energetic and somewhat unstable sounding kind of voice. No. Like he's got big main character energy. Let's put it that way.
Okay, perfect.
And so, yes, he introduces himself as Professor Fremont, the world-renowned secret agent, not a secret anymore. Clearly. And he immediately gets the course started by throwing off his suit jacket and telling the girls to prepare for their first lesson. And so he pretty much just like jumps into like a Chuck Norris style, like roundhouse kick to try to attack the girls. But these girls are spies. They beat the shit out of him immediately and legitimately tie him up in rope because I guess they always come prepared. They always have rope handy.
Probably.
I don't know. And this impresses Professor Fremont, though. He's like, wow, if I didn't know better, like, I think you guys were not new to this whole world of espionage. Like, you guys seem like veterans. And the whole class is like clapping and looking amazed and all of that. Like, wow, these are our new star students.
Wow, they
and the girls kind
of ass.
Exactly. Like, I will not get on their bad side.
Yep, exactly.
And so the girls kind of brush it off like, us? No. We're just, we're new to this, just like everyone else here. Tee-hee. Yeah. We're just born this way.
We're just maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's kicking that ass. Yeah. So Sam's like untying the professor as he's telling them that they'd be perfect, or the perfect team for a little class demo or field trip, perhaps, that he's got planned, in which he and the girls would recreate a famous spy event from the past.
Okay.
And the girls are super stoked for the opportunity, and they excitedly accept his offer like immediately. And so later that night, we see the girls and Professor Fremont staking out the same high-tech fortress that was seen at the beginning of the episode.
Professor? Have you checked the directory that he is a professor? Like,
put a pin in that.
Yeah, I've got.
You got a lot of pins.
Kids are so stupid.
And also, like, was any of this stuff written in the fine print on that flyer that Alex saw? Like, you will be assaulted by this professor. Right. He will try to hit you.
Where was
you are
the
allowed to hit him back.
Yeah.
The campus is off campus, or the class is offered off campus.
In multiple spots.
There will be after hours field trips. Like,
right. With the professor
was any of
alone. This? And you're like, can we rent a textbook, or is it buy only?
Yeah, right. What edition do I need?
Will we have a final test or final project?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, what's the syllabus? What's the grade breakdown? How much of a percentage is my grade based on this field
what's attendance trip? In this?
Exactly.
In this field trip.
So anyways, the girls, though, at this point, they're in like all black cat suits, while Fremont is still in his like vibrant, like pink fluffy shirt. Yeah.
Okay. So he gave them outfits. They procured
I guess. Did he size them? Did he like get their measurements? I don't know, because they fit perfectly. Yeah, true. This is true. This is how they had to age them up to college years now.
Okay.
So Clover says that the professor seems to have put together quite the recreation, saying like, this facility looks so real. These cat suits are super dope. Like, you put a lot of work into this, Professor Fremont. And I will say, hilariously, he's like, yeah, your Mally U tuition dollars at work. It's pretty funny. College is over expensive right now. And it's like, oh yeah, that is probably what they're spending it on.
Oh, because we're building a military facility. Cool.
Exactly. For this one course that's not even offered on campus. Yeah. They don't have sports teams at Mally U, apparently. So like, they got to spend that endowment somewhere, right? So Fremont, while looking at the facility through binoculars, he explains the mission to the girls and says that 20 years ago, in an event dubbed Operation Vulture, a double agent breached security at a compound similar to this one and stole a lethal weapon without being detected, which is why this is considered to be the most impressive undercover job ever executed in the espionage world.
Okay.
And the girls, they're looking a little nervous, like, oh, well, Professor, where do we fit into this?
Good question. They're finally asking some. Good. Little late.
Okay. But, better late than never, I suppose. And so Fremont, he pulls out this map of the grounds and the facility and tells them that they will play the infiltrators and attempt to retrieve the weapon, though he doubts they'll be as successful as the real spy was. But these girls are like, please, we've been spying forever. We were born with the spy gene. Obviously, they don't tell Fremont this, though, because they think it. Exactly. They all kind of have that look in their eyes, like looking at each other like, we got this.
Yeah.
And they immediately, without even like saying, okay, got it, or like understood to him, as soon as he finishes briefing them, they just spring into action, like running full speed downhill towards this facility, easily just like running front flip over these security gates, outrunning a group of security guards that are chasing them once they get past the gates.
It's time to ask questions again.
They just climb their way up the drain pipe and to the roof of the building, where they can access the inside by a skylight. And as they're doing this, they seem impressed, like kind of, recounting all that stuff, like, Professor Fremont, like, he put a lot of effort and thought into this recreation. Like, this is very authentic.
Look at those guns.
Look at those guns. Those were real guns they were firing at us, girl. Or like, I assume, like, bullet holes were in the building after we outran them. Those security spotlights are like super bright, like real spotlights.
One grazed my shoulder and I'm actually bleeding.
This is like real blood coming out of me, guys. This is not prop blood. Amazing. Like, no dollar was wasted on this set design. How cool. So they enter the building through the skylight, and the three of them, they're like sneaking around the rafters near the ceiling of the facility, and they see a group of guards surrounding this large metal crate down below on like the floor of this warehouse. And they're like, okay, the weapon must be in there. So they decide to go even more undercover and in disguise so they can just like easily waltz down to the warehouse floor and grab the crate, I guess. And Clover, she whips out her Whoop like compact computer, like getting ready to like command it, I guess, to like, I don't know, hologram a new outfit on her. I don't fucking know. But Sam, I don't know what she's gonna do with it, but Sam stops her either way, saying like, no, we can't actually use that because Professor Fremont's watching, and we can't give up the fact that we're actually spies with
a little late
actual
for that also,
spy equipment.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah. So instead, Sam and Clover, they like look around the warehouse and they find this locker room, and they just steal clothes out of a locker and dress up as like a guard and a scientist. And I know it's a scientist because it's a white lab coat. We've addressed this before. That is their uniform.
That's my next question.
Yeah. How do you know it's a scientist?
Are you just assuming? Oh, you know. Yes.
Nope.
It is a fact.
And they make their way down to the floor, the warehouse floor. And so Alex, though, she stays upstairs and she finds like this pulley system in the facility that, you know, can hover over the crate and like get it when the girls are ready to like make their exit. So she's still hiding out of there. But when Sam and Clover get down to like the guards in the crate, and they're just like, hi guys. And the guards are looking at them super sus. Like,
what the fuck are
you guys like 18-year-old girls? That guard
your daughter to
way
work
too
day?
Big for you.
Yeah, the lab coat's like swimming.
Like drowning in it. And but it's okay because it's not Sam and Clover who give the game away. It's actually Alex who is like trying to figure out how to use this remote pulley system and like lowers it way too soon and like gives away that this shit is being heisted like right now. And so Sam and Clover just like spring into action and beat up all these guards. Like, okay, get the fuck out of here! Like, we got to get this shit out.
Okay.
And they grab the hook of the pulley, attach it to the crate, and Alex pulls them up and just like swings it out of this warehouse / facility. And then Alex jumps on the crate with them, and you know they're able to like unleash it or release it, whatever, right over a truck. And then they just break into this truck.
Oh my God.
Drive it right out of this facility, literally driving through the fence, like busting the truck through the fence, totally destroying it.
Girls,
and delivering the package to Professor Fremont.
That you had to bring the package back to him like that. Like you could have been like, okay, tap, we got it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Professor?
You're in costume. So I guess where'd you go? But I guess at this point also like the security alarms are going. Like they know there's been a break-in, so they're like, all right, we might as well just bust the fuck out of here as we would if this really was the situation we were in.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next morning at, it's like almost 8:00 or whatever again in the morning. And the girls are hanging out in their penthouse, I guess, before class. And Clover, hilariously, I just had to throw this in here. She's working out, aka torturing herself on a rowing machine. Yeah.
How badly is she doing?
I got chills seeing it. It's pretty bad. It's like it's all back and shoulders and no legs.
No,
yeah,
girl.
Like, girl, you're gonna throw your back out. Anyway,
you're not gonna be able to spy no more.
Nope. No more hopping over fences and beating up guards for you.
Nope, I can't do that with herniated discs. I don't think so. But I used to be able to.
Long time ago. But anyway, yeah, so Clover's torturing herself doing that while like Sam and Alex are just eating breakfast or whatever. They're like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not doing that shit. And they're all still like pumping with adrenaline though, which is probably why Clover is like going after it. Yeah, like super stoked from acing their mission the night before. And Sam is like, well, yeah, that was fun and everything, and we kind of crushed it, but wasn't it like a little weird that Fremont was like so excited to get the crate from us, as if, there was like actually something valuable in that crate?
Yes, good.
And Alex is good question. Again, asking questions. Too late to ask them, but I'm glad you're asking them.
Yep.
And Alex is like, yeah, I mean, he's probably just like super stoked to have 3-star pupils, like 3 students that are just as talented as him in his class. Like, right? Yeah. Right?
Oh God.
Right?
Right. Clover, right? Sam, right?
There, anyone want to agree with me? No. And then before the other 2 girls can agree with Alex's point, we hear a man's voice shouting through a megaphone from outside of their penthouse window, saying, "Stop what you're doing and put your hands in the air right now."
Oh no.
In multiple helicopters, we can see, because I didn't mention it before. I said this penthouse is dope, but like it's got like 2 walls almost of just floor to ceiling windows. Yeah, just like beautiful. But the view is not beautiful right now because we just see helicopters like surrounding them.
Okay.
And at first, Clover is like thinking that these are Whoop agents getting ready to kick them out of the apartment for not paying their rent. She's like, hey, Jerry gave us till the end of the week. What the hell is this? But Sam looks closer and she's like, guys, those are not Whoop helicopters. And so they all decide to just book it, aka fugitive status.
Oh God. Again. Right. And I was gonna say they can't reuse the excuse of we were cloned and it was us. Like,
nope, like this was real you.
Because they know how to be fugitives from
they're pros.
When we were children back in high school.
Those were the days so many years ago. But unfortunately, this time, like the last time they were fugitives, they don't get away, because as soon as they open the penthouse door, they're stopped by an older, suited white man. He's got like white hair and a gray beard and glasses on. And he introduces himself as Mr. Franklin, the Dean of Students, or I guess Dean Franklin then. Okay. And he tells the girls,
push him the fuck out of the way. I'm like, yeah, you're not in a helicopter with a gun. Bye,
nerd. Yeah. He is surrounded by agents, though, too. Like, yeah, it's like him.
Let's kick his ass and go. A nerd can't stop you.
Like, please, fuck out of here. Like, take his glasses off and throw them. Ha, now you can't see. Run away.
Visible.
Yeah. But no, he tells the girls that the government agents are placing them under arrest for stealing what is called the Inflatus project. Okay. And the girls at this point are super confused, like babbling and stumbling over their words, like the what, the who, the what, you've got it all wrong. And the dean is like, no, stop playing dumb. Like, where is the weapon? You need to turn it over right now. But the girls just continue to like babble some sort of innocence to him. Like, but it's not us. We don't know what you're talking about. And Sam's like, wait a minute.
This happened last night.
Yeah. Are you, by chance, Dean Franklin, are you talking about the crate that we gave to Professor Fremont the night before, or last night? And unpin that thing you said before about looking up the professors and stuff, because Dean Franklin's like, who?
Yeah, go to Rate My Professor. See if he's on there.
Is he on there? Is he on there? I'll admit, though, if he was on there, he would have like a couple of the like hot peppers. He's pretty good looking dude. And he's got a good sense of style, too. He's young. He's got nice hair. Yeah. I don't know if he would be like, I don't know if his teaching style would be well appreciated, but like, the kids would probably find him attractive in this cartoon fictional story.
Also, like, how fucking terrifying if you're the dean and like all of a sudden you found out that like that's not a professor here. Like, that's like a haunting. Like,
yeah.
You went to a cave with other students,
and this guy's not a professor.
Yeah, exactly. Like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, so that's such a good point that I didn't even think about, because
it's fucking scary.
It also appears that Dean Franklin's not even considering this.
Oh, yeah.
I guess his understanding is that the girls are just flat out lying to him. Like, they stole this thing. Professor Fremont doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. But like, it's like a fucking wild thing to make up. Like, I think you should probably look into this, but it's nowhere even on his radar now. Like, he's more like, I'm doing what the government agents tell me to do. Which you guys are lying about. Yeah, true.
He's like, I'm a dean. They have machine guns. What's the plan? Like,
They will kill me if I don't
Yeah.
just apprehend you girls
Like,
right now.
I know
So
knowledge
come
is
with me.
power, but so are bazookas.
Bazookas are slightly more powerful.
On a
So they don't care
helicopter?
what you know.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, at this point, Clover's like, Professor Fremont, our espionage 101 professor. And again, Dean Franklin's like, yeah, there's no such course or professor
Oh
at
my
this
God.
institution. Agents, cuff them.
Oh my
Take them
God.
out of here. And so the girl, and then before though, they walk the girls out. He's like, and by the way, you girls are officially finished at Mally U, aka like you're expelled, whatever. Ruh-roh. This is bad. This
Also,
is
like,
bad.
sir, wait until they've been convicted.
Exactly.
Innocent until proven guilty, sir.
Exactly. And I will also say all of this was done without any sort of Miranda rights being read to them.
Of course not.
So, and they've been under arrest here. So, like, all this stuff can be tossed out. And girls, get yourself a good lawyer.
Yeah, it's going to get tossed out.
Oh, Jerry, exactly. It'll get tossed out, all of this. So the girls, though, they are indeed placed in like a jail cell, or I guess it's a jail cell since they haven't had their day in court yet. It's like, not to say that it's like a nice jail cell, but like it's got bunk beds, it's like got a toilet and a sink. It's like exactly like a Malibu jail cell, and even like a small barred off window too, so they can kind of see some sunlight. But they're freaking out about what's going on. Like, one, that they've got kicked out of school, kind of so far. Two, that this Professor Fremont dude is clearly not actually a professor, and that Espionage 101 is not a course. So, like, shoot, now we're going to have to actually sign up for a real course. And then also three, that like they're supposed to have a shift at the coffee shop again today, that they're not going to be able to show up.
You were absolutely fired from that job already.
Oh, oops. And anyway, so they're like, yeah, well, we really haven't done anything wrong. Like, we swear we thought that this was our professor telling us to do this. So Alex is like, well, it is kind of weird that like a world-renowned secret agent would be teaching a college course. Glad you're thinking about this now. Would have been better if you thought about it yesterday morning, but okay, that's cool. And Clover's like, yeah, and I guess if he was world-renowned, like, we would have heard of him. Right.
When you said world-renowned, I was like, are they reacting at all? Are they like fangirling? No.
Yeah. Like, you guys are deep into the global espionage world. Like, you would know. Yeah. And also, you have access to files on almost all spies. And this dude had an American accent. He wasn't like a foreign agent or something. Yeah, so, like,
could have figured it out.
Exactly. And Alex then admits that it's even weirder, or sorry, Sam then admits it's even weirder that, like, yeah, we haven't heard of him. Why is he calling himself world renowned? Can we call Jerry in here? So I guess, by the way,
get your one phone call.
Yeah, there was no pat down for these prisoners, I guess.
Were they the compacts?
They have their compacts still. Exactly. They're lax. They're not used to crime over there. So or it's like random, like Baywatch type shit, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, whatever. So they call Jerry. And as soon as Jerry can like see their visual, he's like, oh my God, you guys are in jail. Like, what happened? Like, hold tight. I'll be there in just a second. And in my mind, I'm thinking Jerry's going to have a word with the government and these agents or whatever to like clear their names, assert their immunity that I assume Loop agents have, right?
Yeah, it's blanket
the
immunity.
Legal way. Exactly. Loop immunity. But no, just like your episode last week, Jerry goes hardcore spy mode. He fucking blows a hole through the ceiling of their cell.
Oh,
and
no,
personally
Jerry.
Escorts them out in a quick and easy, although very messy jailbreak.
And not subtle.
Not subtle at all.
And this is not helping their case that they are spies.
No, like, not at all. Somehow no one sees this. I don't know who. I don't know, like, if there are no guards or anything. Yeah, who's on shift? Who's outside their cell? Apparently no one. Okay. But he does drop down another compact thing that then projects all three of the girls' holograms, like, into the cells, I guess, to keep the guards from being too suspicious.
Does it, hologram a new ceiling?
No. I was going to say, like, don't mind the gaping hole and rubble in the cell. He does somehow, like, it's like a circle that he blows into it, and somehow he like puts the circle back into the ceiling. But like, sir, the cracks are still there. The excess rubble is like still on the ground, and the holograms are like flickering and just like sitting in the same spot. So like, if a guard came by to ask them like, hey, do you need anything, or just like check on them? Yeah, like they're all just gonna be sitting there like eyes looking in the same, like frozen, just like, but also kind of glitching. I don't know, whatever. Maybe they also like took out the guards too for the time being.
Honestly, probably.
What were those like chloroform gloves from
exactly. Jerry just like shoot real quick,
climbed up into like the AC, the HVAC or whatever, and did all that shit. Yeah. So anyway, before we see the girls and Jerry like catching up, we go back to the Espionage 101 cave, and we see Professor, quote unquote, Fremont opening up the crate from the high-tech fortress that the girls got for him the night before. And he looks like super pleased with this new acquisition. And he's looking at it and he's like, finally, the tool to help me carry out my revenge. And we don't get a good look at it yet, but we see exactly this guy's got revenge, as do all of the Totally Spies villains. So he starts typing some codes into this keyboard that's like attached to the weapon/crate package thing. And he decides to run this weapon for a test, which results in the earth like just starting to rumble viciously underneath and around him, almost just like an earthquake, like a pretty high magnitude earthquake. And so the girls, they're back with Jerry in his office at Whoop, explaining the whole story of the past like 12 to like 24 hours with him, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Like telling him about like, yeah, it was Espionage 101. It was Professor Fremont, this world-renowned spy. And not gonna lie, Jerry is looking at these girls like they're total fucking idiots. He's just like,
like you walked into that trap.
Really? Like, oh my God, you guys have not learned anything.
He's like, I'm gonna put you back in jail.
But also kind of like studying them as they're walking through everything. Like Sam runs over to a computer and like opens up the database and looks this guy up, looks up Professor Fremont, and she's like, yeah, turns out this guy has been kicked out of every spy agency, or not even kicked out, rejected from every spy agency in the world. Like he tried out or applied, whatever, for all of them. And also turns out, so one, he's not a world-renowned spy, and it turns out that this Inflatus project that he had us steal is actually a top-secret weapon that has been designed with the capacity to expand literally any object of any mass to hundreds of times its natural size. And Jerry's got like, he's already got pulled up like the whole schematics on it and like pictures of it and everything like behind him. Put a pin in that. It adds to my wild speculation. Oh, Jerry. And yes, Sam then asks what Fremont would want with such a weapon. And Clover's like, well, he probably wants to inflate his seriously sagging ego because as he kept saying, she's got it. She's roasting him. She's burning him. She knows he thinks he's a world-renowned spy. He couldn't get into any spy academy, even if he tried. And he did try. Multiple times and multiply failed. So just as they're saying this, they feel the ground shaking underneath them, and they feel that earthquake type thing that Fremont just set off. But Jerry, he immediately pulls up a grid of what he calls terrestrial sensors. I guess that Whoop has planted all over the world. Surveillance state. Who's funding Whoop, by the way, too? I always wonder. Jerry's got to be like a multi-billionaire. Yeah, true. I guess they're all over the world. And so what he learns from this grid of sensors is that the Earth has actually, no big deal, but just expanded 2% in size. Bad. Very bad.
No, very bad.
And the girls realize that Fremont must already be carrying out his plan. And Jerry's like, clicking on his keyboard, looking at these sensors and stuff. And he detects that the source of the activity is near Mali U. And so he sends the girls to go stop Fremont. And he equips them, though, first with our gadgets for the rest of the episode. They've got the Whoop jet, no big deal. He just gives them the keys. Like, by the way, just use that, please, for this mission. Don't go off on shopping sprees. They've got yet again the underwater power walking apparatus that's inconspicuous, aka the Upwaddies, which again was in my last episode. I think maybe one of yours as well. Basically, just a jet propelled scuba suit. And they've got the self-propelling exploding ink pen and the ever-expanding bubble gum. So
got Willy Wonka at the end.
Yeah. Which girl was it that did the bubble gum? Was it the Veronica? What was it? No, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, because one of them had, I forget their names.
The lasting gobstopper.
Gobstopper, that's what it was. Yeah. Well, this is the ever-expanding bubble gum. Be careful with it, girls. So they take off in the jet and they head back to the cave where the sensors detected the earthquake or like the epicenter or whatever of the earthquake. And they land the jet just like on the water. They throw on the Upwaddies and just kind of scuba dive or like swim their way in closer. And when they enter the cave, they see the inflatus machine, which really is just like, it's like this rectangle with like lights and buttons on it on like 4 little legs with like a satellite type thing sticking out of the front of it. And it's kind of small too. It's like not even up to their knees really. But this thing is just like sitting out in the cave, and one of the girls like puts their hand on it or whatever. Like, yeah, feels like it was just being used. Like, I guess it's warm or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Sure. It's like a car.
We'll take it.
Yeah. And so right as they're saying this, Fremont sneaks out from behind a corner of the cave, sporting one of those sleek all black cat suits. He took off his suit now. He's ready for action. And he confronts the girls saying that, haha, I knew it, or now I know why you were able to carry out the mission, because my star students are real spies. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so the girls, they're now ready to fight. They're like calling Fremont a phony, saying that his next step is going to be in the Whoop jail. And Fremont's like, please, you have no chance of ending my revenge mission to make Earth explode. Which, as we ask in every episode, who hurt you, dude? Who hurt you?
Damn. Okay.
And even crazier, Alex is like, wait. So you're going to destroy the entire Earth, the thing that you currently are on,
and so it's a suicide mission.
Exactly, to get revenge for your lack of an ability to be a spy.
Yeah.
And Fremont, even crazier, and kind of as a callback to my, I think, first episode, he explains that he is going to destroy the Earth from the safety of a spaceship that he's created.
Of course. What? Who's funding him?
I don't know. Actually, I know. No one. Because when we the camera pans to this spaceship it's like a scrapyard style spaceship.
Oh no, so he's crazy.
He's crazy. He's
okay, so
crazy.
He's like as a rocket.
I can do this. And as the girls are looking at it, literally pieces are falling from the spaceship.
Okay, so he's not doing well.
No, he's not.
Mentally.
The first thing I would say to him is, oh, you seem like you are doing you seem like a stable and healthy, mentally healthy and sound individual. Yeah.
And you're like, yes.
Grab this inflatus and we're going to be on our way.
You weren't rejected from all those spy agencies after the psych test. Yes, definitely not.
It was the physical test that got you only, right?
Star colors on the psych test. Cool.
Yes. Cool.
Uh-oh.
No, the girls do not treat him tenderly at all. They literally just start laughing in his face, roasting him, saying, who the fuck built this spaceship, dude? You're not going to get far in that at all. It's a piece of shit, literally, in more appropriate terms is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Fremont, though, he obviously has not, he's definitely someone who has been bullied a lot, and he still has not been able to grow the thick skin to just brush it off, because he snaps at them and it's just well, fine, instead I'm just going to steal your jet. And so he jumps into action to make a break for it and run out of there. But the girls, literally, they just trip him. He just falls on his face before he can get to the machine. But in a clever move, he then just like picks up sand off the ground and like throws it right in the girl's eyes, which gives him a chance to crawl away, grab a gun that's attached to the inflated machine. I don't know. He like throws a clam at the girls and then inflates it with the machine, and it like grows exponentially and just closes right on the girls and like traps them in the cave as he then runs off with the machine, which I guess also the girls left the keys to the jet in the jet because he just gets right in it and takes off. Yeah.
Honestly,
they're like, oh yeah, it's safe here in the middle of the ocean. Like
it's fine.
Which also, I don't know how the fuck he got to in the middle of the ocean. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
whatever.
one of the bodies.
Yeah, that too. There we go.
Who knows?
And so Alex and Sam, their heads are like facing out of the clam, but Clover got somehow caught in it the other way where her head is in the clam and like her legs are hanging out of it. And so Sam like is like finagling in her pockets and like hands Clover a piece of none other than the ever expanding bubble gum. It's going to come in handy here. And so Clover chews it and she starts blowing a bubble that just keeps growing bigger and bigger until it just forces the clam to open up so they can get out. So it didn't take them long. They run out of the cave. They chase down Fremont using their jetpacks because he's already taken off. But he sees the girls behind him and decides to further execute his plan / just like kick this plan into high gear. Like, all right, we're going all out now. And he somehow in like the 5 to 10 minutes or whatever that he had to do so before the girls got out of the cave, he somehow attached the inflatus machine to the bottom of this jet, this whoop jet. And he began and like also attached it to the inner controls of the jet because from the inside of the jet, he just starts shooting this inflatus machine at everything that's beneath him. Like he's flying over forests, over mountains, over cities and everything. And we just see like trees growing exponentially. And the girls are like running into the trees and like having to dodge the trees. And like mountains just start like rising even further out of the ground and everything. And in the city, like the buildings are growing. He's like shooting this thing at cars. And eventually from just like shooting it everywhere, we see a legit volcano just like spur out of the ground in downtown, what I assume is like Malibu or I don't know, like Santa Monica, one of those cities down there, something. And the more that we see this stuff, like all just like, you know, growing exponentially, stuff just starts like falling apart. The streets are buckling. Lava starts shooting out of the volcano and like rocks of like fiery ash fiery rocks start like flying out of the volcano.
Like, where is the US military now? Like
there are definitely bases in California.
Right. When you were describing it originally, actually, because it's south of LA, I was like, oh, Camp Pendleton, got it. Like there are so many, but like, where are they now? This is very obvious that this is where your lost weapon is.
Yeah, exactly. And to their knowledge, the girls are still in holograms. I was gonna say the girls are like still in jail. What are they doing? Like yelling at holograms while this is all happening outside?
It's like good cop, bad cop. Someone's like, "You will tell me where it is." And someone's
like trying to strangle the hologram.
Exactly. And the other one's like pulling him back before he touches it.
It's cool, dude. It's cool. And the girls are just like stone cold looking at them. They like have a 5-minute break outside.
Like they're the hardest criminals I've ever fucking had to interrogate.
Don't let these teenage girls ruin your career. Don't do it. And the girls, you like see them through the double glass. The girls are still just like staring forward. Look at them, Simmons.
They know.
They know. So this shit, like mayhem, absolute chaos is erupting in the city. Like I said, these fiery rocks flying out of this new formed volcano or this newly exposed volcano, literally blowing shit up in the city streets. Like cars are exploding, things are catching on fire.
People are absolutely dead.
Are like, absolutely, not only because like shit's falling on them, but like they're on fire. Whatever, lava's like rushing into the city. The girls are like dodging these flaming rocks on their jetpacks. It's like a super intense scene. But eventually Alex gets an idea, only probably too bad we can, like you said, we can only assume the casualties have already occurred. So it took her a little too long to figure this out. But she's like, okay, here, we'll use this, like pulls out the self-propelling exploding ink pen, which essentially it's just a pen that like shoots ink out of it, like when you press a button. And she's like, okay, I can use this, but she can't figure out how to use hers. And like the ink just explodes on her face. And this was Alex, actually, sorry. Alex. And so Sam then is like, okay, sweetie, you stay back. She like flies up to the jet and like to the inflatus machine underneath the jet and shoots the ink directly at the like sensor or whatever that is on this machine, which does briefly cause it to malfunction, and it kind of slows Fremont down a little bit. But he is apparently a very good pilot, and he's able to like move the jet around a bit to like shake off the ink and then continue his plot to destroy the world. So then they're like, okay, shoot, got to think of a different plan. Yeah, that didn't really work. People they like look down. People are still dying. We got to kick this into high gear.
How you doing? No, you good? No.
Oh, look, there's someone who's alive. Oh, nope, they're dead.
Oh no! Guys, let's go higher in the jetpack so we can't see the casualties.
Yeah, let's just get out of here.
We've said it once, we've said it a million times. We're not the body recovery team.
Yeah, one human. We need to protect one human, and then we live up to our name.
Done.
So Sam, though, she hatches a pretty good plan to bait Professor. I shouldn't even call him Professor Fremont towards them. So they fly over to a donut shop that classically has a sign over top of it with just like a large donut type sculpture attached to it. And they're like there waving Fremont down like, haha, we're over here. Can you get us? Can you get us? Like, come at me, bro. And Fremont, he falls for the bait. He flies the jet towards the girls and this donut sculpture. And he starts to shoot the inflatus machine right at this donut, or at the girls who are standing right underneath this giant donut. But right as they see the laser from this thing fire off, the girls take off in their jetpacks just before this ray hits the donut, causing it to grow exponentially. Fremont is still flying towards it because he was flying towards them to hit them. And he ends up flying right into the hole of the donut, getting the jet stuck, and then being not able to fly around and use this thing anymore. And that's like really it for him. Like the Whoop agents quickly swoop in and arrest him while Jerry just like congratulates them. Like we don't see any sort of interrogation or whatever. They just like take him right off.
Okay, interesting.
And that's it for Fremont.
Wow. Okay.
So, the girls, like, they're back talking to Jerry and stuff, like, you know, kind of do some damage control and everything. And they kindly, and, you know, it's the least they can do, offer to return the Inflatus project to the high-tech fortress.
Yeah, I think you don't have a choice.
You kind of don't. And their reason, too, is like, well, you know, we just got kicked out of school. So I guess, like, now we've got all the time in the world to go and, like, return this thing. And Jerry tells them that he's already smoothed things over with the dean, which we can only wildly speculate means that he either A, tortured the dean, or B, erased his memory and hypnotized him into reinstating the girls into the school in their dorm accommodations.
I think the first, because then like they'll always get whatever Jerry wants. Exactly. Like he won't have to go through the last minute class sign up again. He'll just like send a goon and be like, Jerry said they have to take these classes.
Okay, they're in.
Okay, done.
They're in. Please, like the dean doesn't even like look at them. He's just like, they're in. Please don't. Please don't hurt me again. Please don't torture me again. I don't want to be waterboarded again.
Was tortured.
Yeah. So anyway, Jerry's like, smooths all that over. So you guys can go back to Malay U like tomorrow, like immediately, pretty much. And the girls are super happy, like, yay, awesome. Like, thanks, Jerry. And just as Jerry either erased or, you know, tortured, whatever, the dean erased his memory or whatever, he also tells the girls that he's erased the rent on their penthouse as a gift for their services, which is fair.
Yes,
totally fair, and should have just been what he did at the beginning, from the jump. And so the girls celebrate even more now that things are back to normal. They're like, fuck yeah, we've got our dope ass penthouse back, we're back in school. oh shoot, that's right, though, we do still have our jobs back at the
Oh my
coffee shop,
God.
which they were not fired from, I will say.
But they're like 18 hours
Miraculously.
late to the second shift.
Exactly. So like after they get all settled back in, they make their way back to the coffee shop to work, which again at this point, like, it's kind of irrelevant now that the penthouse is free. Like they don't have to do it, but they're like excited to show back up at work or whatever.
Because they like want
I
to
guess
be normal.
I guess, yeah, that. And I think they kind of have a soft spot for Virgil. Like they do keep saying throughout the episode, like, oh, Virgil's so nice. Like almost like, oh, he's our
Oh,
cute little geeky friend. Like
yeah, we can't
he's
let him
so nice. Like we
down.
didn't deserve to like treat him that way. Like
Oh,
we
okay, that's
did kind of throw
nice.
him under the bus. Yeah. So they get back to the coffee shop to work, but they realize that Virgil has replaced them with Mandy and
Oh
Mindy.
my God.
And the girls are pissed
Pissed.
because Mandy and Mindy are like making fun of the girls like for losing such a dope job. Sure, right.
Virgil's like, wow,
LOL.
no one's ever wanted
It's
to
like,
work
this
here.
is cool. Yeah, like competition between all these popular girls. Like,
Right,
that's awesome.
exactly.
Yeah. And so to impress Virgil and get their jobs back, Sam sneakily takes out of her like purse or whatever, her pocket, like a miniature inflatus gun, or like the gun that was
Oh
attached
God.
to it. I guess they like either haven't returned it yet to the fortress, to the high-tech fortress, and or like
Same
real
story.
quick whoop like duplicated one. Like, hold on,
Oh
before you
shit.
return that, like we need this
Yes,
technology. So let's
probably.
like, which again, adding to my wild speculation that we'll get to in just one
Okay,
second
okay,
here.
okay.
And they like take out a coffee bean and shoot the bean, causing it to like massively grow right in front of them, also not subtle whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Virgil sees the bean and he's super excited and freaks out, like, oh my God, you guys are rehired, like this
What?
is enough
How's
coffee
that
to last us
rehire
for
you?
days.
What?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense
This
because
is the
one,
thing I
it's
have
like
issue with in this show, is
the
this
giant
moment.
coffee bean getting them their
This
job back.
doesn't make sense.
No, but Virgil is happy. He's like, this is great. Now we don't need to order more beans for like a month. We can grind this up, this one
Oh my
bean, I
God, just like
guess.
shave it.
I'm not gonna mind the fact that you just did this, defying the laws of
Yeah, are
science
you
and physics.
witches?
And yeah, I don't care. Are you spies?
Don't care.
What is this? Don't care.
Thanks for
You
the
guys are
bean.
rehired. Mindy, you're fired.
Wow. He has a lot of
Last thing I'll
authority.
say, I guess so. He not only does he manage this shift, he owns this place. This is Virgil's coffee shop, right?
We got cute.
And the last thing I'll say, because the girls, they love violence. So rather than just letting Mandy and Mindy leave, go on their own way at the
Take the high
embarrassment
road,
of the girls,
girls.
exactly, take the high road. No, no, no. They go oh so low, or at least Clover does. She grabs a fucking frying pan, Grace, and just like in cartoon/anime fashion, like bats Mandy and Mindy right out of there. They like go flying out of the restaurant while like Virgil and the girls are like all celebrating, like,
Oh
yay! And
my
then that's the end of
God.
the episode. Yeah.
What?
Yes. So
Wow. So that's so wild, but we need to hear your wild speculation.
we do need to hear my speculation. So, okay. I think all of this just seemed like a convoluted plot. Like
Uh-oh.
Jerry was like 30 steps ahead of all of them. And it's making me think about this show totally different, wherein Jerry knew that the Inflatus project existed and he's like, damn, Whoop needs to get their hands on this.
Oh
But like he
no.
also knew that there was a plot coming up to like possibly
Steal
steal it. So he was just punking them the entire time by saying, like, Jerry's good at this. He's been in espionage for a while, so he can play the long con. So he was like, ooh, I know exactly how to get on the girls' nerves and get them into this fake class that's being offered at Mally U. I'm going to give them this dope-ass penthouse apartment. I'm going to trick them, though, and say, oh, just kidding. You guys actually got to pay for it, which is going to force them to get a part-time job somewhere on campus. He like knows the campus. Whoop. You know, espionage 101 / or not even that, because that's like the class, but like surveillance state 101, we'll say. Like, he's got the whole schematics of this campus. He knows where the girls frequent. He knows where like the hot jobs or like the easy jobs for them to get on campus are. So he's like, they're most likely going to apply to one of these 3 places for the job that they're going to need to get after I scare them into thinking they need to pay rent. Once he figures out where they go, because he obviously has trackers on them at all times, he's like, okay, they're going with a coffee shop. Cool. He then makes exactly. But before he does that, he's like, okay, I also see that Mandy, their arch nemesis, is in school. Ooh, but she has an even more annoying
Jerry enrolled them.
Mindy. Exactly.
Jerry shut down that Aspen University. Get them there.
And he's like, ooh, they will go here with the girls. I'll make sure that I put like an ad or like a coupon for a free coffee that must be redeemed at the exact hour that the girls are working their shift at this coffee store. Mandy and Mindy are going to go over there. They'll see the girls. The stress of starting this job and seeing Mandy, and Mindy is going to spin the girls out of control. They're going to have to leave. This is where they like going to vent about things on campus. You see Jerry like right before they get there, like staple the espionage 101.
It's like one of his goons who's dressed up like as a bush, staples it and then goes back to standing like a bush to make sure when he sees them take it,
see his eyes like popping out.
Call to Jerry like they took the bait.
They take the bait, they look at it. Jerry's like, very good, very good. Now they're in this espionage 101 class. All the other students that were in it were actually just Whoop agents dressed as students.
Like the Steve Buscemi, hello, fellow youth.
Yeah. Wow, they're such good spies. Like goading them into like taking the mission with Professor Fremont and everything. Like, yeah, you guys should do it.
You guys are so totally cool.
Do it. Knowing that all of this would unravel, 2 birds with 1 stone. They got Fremont out of there. They got the inflatus technology. That's why Jerry was like, oh, hold on, you don't have to return that just yet.
We'll do it.
Exactly. That's why Jerry was like studying them as they were like going through all this stuff in his office, because he was like, are they onto it? How are they doing? Good, like monitoring their progress.
They're going to move forward with this.
He already had the schematics for the inflatus like up on the board behind him before they even got like when they got to his office. I was like, why does he just have that on file? Like, what the hell? I was like, Jerry, did you do this on purpose? And then because at the end to just be like, okay, just kidding, like your rent is actually free. It's like, well, what changed, Jerry? Like they were going to save the world, one way or another, because they were still doing missions for you. You didn't like fire them when they went to college. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Jerry just orchestrated this entire thing to make sure that Whoop could get their hands on this super secret high-tech fortress facilities technology, while also getting this Professor Fremont, this Fremont character out there who probably was getting into trouble in the past and stuff. He had a pretty long rap sheet and file from like getting kicked out of agencies and stuff like that.
Add a piece of speculation as to how I think Fremont, they decided that Fremont was their guy. Is that like, someone who's like applied to a million like spy agencies, like everyone's gonna have a file on him to be like, all right, this person's desperate, like we usually need to be worried. It's like how like serial killers will become friends with cops, or like they got rejected from being a cop and then go crazy and all that shit. So like that type of vibe. It's like, there's a whole list of people. And so when Jerry like was like, okay, they moved this weapon to this facility. It's near Malibu. Like, how do we get it? How do we make it happen? It's going to move again. It's going to be out of my grasp. Let's check in on who we could pin this on. Who could we pin this on? And so they're scrolling through the list and they're like, Fremont, what's someone give me the update on Fremont, who was in a cave building a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And they had someone go
for no reason,
acting like this the same Bush agent from before, but he's a stalagmite this time, just in the cave being like, wow, are you a spy? I bet you could steal this weapon. Wow, I heard you're a professor. You're a professor now. Like Fremont is absolutely like a paranoid schizophrenic. Like, doesn't mean that they are bad, but like he is not doing well with his mental health. He is bad. And so
he does not see doctors.
And so then when people showed up after Jerry put the flyer, he was like, yes, I am a professor. Exactly.
Again, The long con. All of this so that Whoop could steal this super secret technology. Yep. This is a privately owned company that came up with this thing. They were not willing to sell their secrets to the government or any government adjacent agencies. So Jerry's like, fine, we'll do it the hard way. Sorry that some of your guards are going to have to die in the process. I'm going to have these teenage girls kill some of your guards.
Also, sorry that I'm absolutely going to let this like unstable human being lay his hands on it. We might kill a couple thousand people, but LA is pretty crowded already.
Yeah.
Malibu's getting overrun.
Exactly. We're actually helping. At one point they do say, I think that they like reversed all of the overgrown stuff. I don't know. I guess you just like kick the inflatus into reverse or something and it can shrink stuff. Usually all good inventors know to put a reverse button on their inventions.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean you can't bring back the dead, but at least you can shrink the mountains again and like the buildings.
Shrink the core of the earth, which as soon as you said that, I was like, that would fuck up our like magnetic, like our like magnetic sphere. That would fuck up our gravity with the moon. Like that would fuck up our
it would end the world. It would literally end the world.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
Even the stuff in Malibu and all that wouldn't have even happened. Like as soon as you just start doing that, it's like, okay, we're done. The whole world's fucked. Like the core applies to everything, not just Malibu. Right. Like
and that's
California.
Also probably why too, like Fremont again in his like unstableness was just like, okay, I'll take your jet then. Like that jet can't go to space, but he didn't fucking care. / the fact like when you were saying he was firing it at the donut, I was like, but he's firing it at them, which if they became huge, they could just smack his plane out and like be even stronger.
Awesome. Like so, monster fight.
Yeah, he's just truly like in his own world that Jerry helped create for him.
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't care about casualties, is what I'm and also taking back to away.
The Whoop jail. No.
Yeah,
he's going right back to the Whoop jail.
He's gonna get that memory swipe.
Exactly,
and they know how to do it.
Him again when they need something.
Yes, they're gonna put him back in a cave.
Yeah.
This is not his first time. Stealing something.
This is like Jerry's go-to pawn to use to execute shit. Yeah.
He's like so easily moldable.
Yes.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. So ever since I thought about that, I was like, I'm kind of looking back on all these episodes now. What if they were all just Jerry's convoluted plots to like get his hands on technology and or to like lock up people that like but for Jerry's own like orchestrating and actions, these villains wouldn't be like as bad as they are
unless like, Jerry pushed them.
Exactly. Yeah.
1,000%. Again, like Fremont was just happily potentially building a rocket in a cave, harming no one.
It was like one of the ones you order in the mail or like through a magazine or whatever. Just like a little kid having fun in his cave by himself.
And then that stalactite spy started whispering sweet nothings into his ears at night. God. Off the rails.
It's so funny. Just seeing like a spy in a bush. You just like see his eyes pop out.
They took the flyer. And then immediately pulls down the flyer sign so no one shows up to the class. No one else with them and the other agents.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm on board for this. Yeah, absolutely. Great job.
Cool.
Incredible speculation. That is fact now.
It's fact now. That's canon. I hope that's how they approach the reboot when they get to it.
We'll send them this episode.
That comes out next week. Exactly.
Nice.
Cool. So, until next week for our second to last Totally Spies episode, keeping this one going for a little bit longer than our usual arcs. Who should they tell about this podcast?
I think that y'all should tell college professor. Have we done that already?
I don't think so.
I think we've done teacher, but you should tell a professor.
I think we've done teacher, but not a professor.
Tell a professor about this episode. And then who else?
You guys should tell a prison guard about, or a jail guard, whomever, about this episode. They've got nothing better to do. They could listen to it anyway.
There's just holograms in there anyways, so whatever. Cut to also at the end of this episode, the jail. Simmons is like having a mental breakdown.
I can't get them to crack. They won't crack, but I'm cracking.
I'm cracking. You got, and like Peters is like shaking him, like Simmons, snap out of it, slaps him. You have to do it through Becky.
Get it, Peters? Don't you get it, Peters? There is no Becky. She won't take me back if I don't get an answer on these.
I said one more job and then I'll retire. And she said, only if you crack the case. Only if I crack the case. Like I couldn't crack the case of her father's murder.
You see, then cut to Jerry in his office, like, oh shit, I forgot to get the hologram thing back from the jail.
And then he's like, the battery's probably dead. It's fine.
They probably already figured out it's a hologram anyway.
He like woke up in bed and said that, and was like, oh, it's fine. And then like tucked back into bed.
Oh man.
Wow.
Can Simmons and Peters be like side characters for us now? We gotta do a side project with these two. This would be a great buddy cop sort of.
Yes, they're falling apart.
Yeah. Their lives, all because of Jerry and the Totally Spies.
Unsurprised, frankly. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Well, anyway.
Great. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Till next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.